Give it up for Mr. Brent Gove.
Wow, quite the introduction there. Wow, how are you guys doing? All right, well, I am excited to be here today. Now, I hate it, like, hey, it's funny. I'm not going to be funny today, okay? I'm going to be serious as a heart attack, okay? Because this is really about your kids. This is about your family unit or you and your goals and dreams and what you want to do. So I prepared a lot of heavy stuff. You guys ready for it? Man, I mean, it's 9 a.m. in Houston. My gosh, it's 7 a.m. out in California. I got to wake up. So I thought what I would start with is my story, just real brief, because a lot of you have heard it, but a lot of you have not heard it. Everyone's like, is that all you do is recruit? So here's my story. I spent 22 years in real estate. 2 years ago, I got a call from Sheila Fair's-Ron about EXP. I'll tell you what happened there, but roll it back. I spent my first 12 years with RE/MAX, which you just heard about. Then I spent 8 years with Keller Williams, ran one of the largest franchises in the country. In fact, in 2001, we were the most profitable Keller Williams in the nation, made more money than Gary Keller's own office. I'm proud about that. And then after 8 years there, I was in love with Keller, and Sheila calls me, and she says, hey, have you heard of this EXP deal? I'm like, nope. And she says, would you check it out? I said, yes. Now, what a lot of you don't know is I didn't know Sheila. And so many of you are like, well, I'm afraid to call so-and-so. I don't think they'll remember me. Or they're a big deal and I'm a little deal. I didn't know if Sheila had just gotten a real estate license. I can't call anyone. I just got my real estate license. I've only done 3 deals. Do something every day that scares you a little bit. Was that a good one? Write that down. That's one. Do something every day. Make at least one call that scares you. Call a builder to take up the builder business. Why? He doesn't know me. You'll find that successful people, some of them are total arrogant jerks, right? But not all of them. And some Coldwell Banker agents are terrible, but not all of them. And some EXP agents are terrible. Come on, there's 16,000 of us. They should be in prison. But not all of them. Are you with me? So just because you had a bad experience, well, I called this big-time Better Homes agent. She was mean to me. Okay, what's next, you know? And so Sheila called me, and I watched that webinar, and I went, holy smokes, are you kidding me? And I said, I'm really interested. How do I learn more? I mean, I knew I wouldn't be interested, but I was. I could not believe there was a better model than Keller Williams. And it's really, you can't even compare the two. I mean, it's just like, you know, I mean, Keller Williams is the best old school, old traditional brokerage there is, in my opinion, for me. But, you know, that would be a 1, EXP's a 10. I mean, there's no comparison. And I'll get into why. That's not a put down. It's just Keller Williams doesn't have stock awards and they don't do revenue sharing. And that's why we're all here for most of the point. And so she said, well, come to San Antonio. We're having our big annual convention. I came and sat in a room just like this. And I met Pat and Angel Hayes at that meeting. Do you remember meeting me? No, you don't. You do not. He goes, I met you. He goes, I never met you in my life. I go, here, I pulled up a selfie, me and Pat Hayes. It was awesome. I still give him a hard time. And I met Scott and Traci there. I love them, you know. And I met other leaders there. And I sat like you in this room, like my friend from Keller Williams who's here checking it out, who I met last night. He's here going, I think I'm excited. I think I'm going to do it. That was my opinion at that event. And they said, look, if you sign up next week, let's get it rocking. Let's get it going. And the very next week I came back and I signed up for EXP. I signed up my team. It was a hot mess, right? But we got it done. I told my team leader at Keller Williams, you know, we could do this right or do it wrong. It's my heart to do it right. Let's take the high road. Treat me right. Because, of course, they're telling me this is the biggest mistake in my life. It's going to destroy my career. Just like RE/MAX said when I went to Keller Williams, right? Because RE/MAX didn't want me to leave the RE/MAX team. And when I left Keller Williams, saying, no, because anything else is bad. There's no way Century 21 go, we've been praying that you would find EXP. Right? I mean, there's no one's going to say, yeah, there's such a better model. They're like, no, stay here, you belong here. But we agreed to take the high road, and I left. I go, because if you kick me in the head when I leave and try to take my listings and my commissions, I will never be back. So let's take the high road, and if you're right and this is not going to work, I'll be back in 6 months. And I'm telling you, if you're a guest here at this event this weekend, My big plan was to try it for 6 months. That was my big plan. It's either going to work or it's not. In 6 months, I'll know. Because I'm a worker. That is not the question. Are you with me? Am I talking to a room full of workers, doers, or talkers? Is it talkers or doers, right? I'm a doer. Is anybody a doer? So I said, I'm going to go home and do it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I am completely okay with failing. I mean, I've embraced failure my whole life. I'm really good at open houses. How good am I? Well, first of all, you got to understand, I've done them for a long time. I'll match anybody in this room. Get out there at 8 or 9 in the morning and stay till 6, 7, 8 at night. Oh my gosh, don't you have a life? Yeah, I was the one at the zoo on Monday with the kindergartners. I was at Apple Hill on Wednesday with the 5th graders. I had all my free time during the week. I go skiing during the week, houseboating, playing during the week, but on the weekends, I didn't play at all. I was there to be a weekend warrior for my family. And I know one rainy day in 3.5 hours, I convinced 37 strangers to give me their social security numbers. How good was I at open houses? Really good. But I was determined to learn to do it. Why? That's a whole nother story. Watch that online. In fact, all my resources, there's a website called BrentGoveResources.com. Brent Gove, which James, who will follow me next, who's the brains of this operation, put together, has all my resources, BrentGoveResources.com. And there's even the how to do the open house thing, which is how I made $3.8 million in 1 year from the open house. So if you're here to sell real estate, you need to watch my open house. I've tried open houses. I've eaten sushi before. I didn't like it the first time. Wrote it off for 10 years. Maybe you should try open houses my way. Right? Right? Okay, so anyway, so I get an EXP and did you recruit all the time? No, I did real estate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We are a real estate company. This is about selling real estate. We want you to excel at real estate. We want you to do well. In fact, I didn't stop doing real estate until I was earning $100,000 a month. Do you know that $100,000 a month is way more than Keller Williams' #1 profit share earner in the world? And that took me 15 months. It took me 15 months to make more income than the #1 Keller Williams profit share earner in the world after 30 years. 15 months, 30 years. You did not make a mistake, okay? Do not listen to that voice like, I don't know. Which voice you can listen to? The one over here, like the little, devil or the angel, Who are you kidding? You're not, And I look at people, and I could never be them. Be you. Be authentically you. Have real life human being conversations with people. 1 or 2 a day. I did real estate 4 days a week. Friday mornings I golfed. I've been golfing for 20 years with my pastor, the associate pastor, and the gentleman who used to run my church, James, who now runs my company, my COO, Chief Operating Officer, James, who's up next. You're going to get to meet the smart guy, okay? And so basically, we golf, and then Friday afternoons, I'd take a shower, go into the office, drink a cup of coffee, shuffle paper, set up 2 or 3 open houses on my listings, and go home. And it was never super motivated or effective Friday afternoon. So that was my opportunity. And Friday afternoons, if you're wondering how we did this, here it is, write it down. Friday afternoons, maybe it's Wednesday mornings for you, maybe it's Sunday nights for you. Find your window of opportunity. Write that down. Find your window of opportunity to be purposeful and intentional. And what happened was, on Fridays from 2 to 5, for the first time in 20 years, 2 decades, I called you guys. I called agents and brokers that I knew. Man, but you're a national figure. That's this person. He's a national figure. I called agents. Of the 40 I sponsored in 8 months, 37 were right there in Sacramento. I knew people all over the country. 37 were just right there in Sacramento. And then they called their uncle, their auntie, their best friend from kindergarten, from high school in Portland and Seattle and Vancouver and Alberta. And now we're in 45 states and 200 major markets and all throughout the U.S. and Canada, getting ready to go into Mexico, Australia. It's huge. But it starts with you carving out a piece of time and then living by your calendar. Write that down. I will live by my calendar. Design a plan and stick with it. Okay? So let me ask you a question. What's the one thing you can do? What's the one thing you could do this year to make the biggest difference in your life? Last 2 years, the first year it was get to 40. I did it in 8 months. I signed up 4 or 5 people a month for 8 months. I guess 5 a month is, right? It felt like 4 or 5, but I did 80. I did 40 in 8 months. And then last year, it was just build that sucker and help people and just grow. But I'll tell you what mine is for this year. But what's the one thing? Like if all else fails, you do this one thing, you've succeeded in 2019. For some of you, and you got to hear me deep, it's saving your marriage. For some of you, it's reconnecting with your 15-year-old son or daughter. That's the one thing you should do. For me, it's weight loss. I mean, literally, that's my complete one thing that I don't care. Yes, of course, I want EXP to grow and all this, but my one thing, you'll see me with water all the time now. And in, I think, 13 days, I've lost 19 pounds. Is that cool? But I sold out to that idea, you know? I'll go to Ruth Chris and have a little power bar with a cup of coffee and everyone's eating steaks. Because I burn the boats. I'm like all in. I go, what is the one thing? Because my weight affects my relationship with my wife, my kids. I can be tired. I'm not as effective. And so it's at 52 years old, it's time. Not, I've dodged diabetes and heart attack and stroke. But my doctor says, you ain't going to dodge it forever, my man. And so that's my one thing this year. What's yours? For some of you, like marriage check, family check, and you still have goals, but you got to become obsessed. You got to become possessed, not in the bad way, right? The angel way, the good way, with whatever that item is. For some of you, I'm going to go sign up 40 people as quick as I can. I'm going to get the big mo. When you got momentum in real estate and every listing appointment you go on, you get them. Every buyer you go out with, you put them in escrow. You ever had the big mo in real estate? Everything you touch turns to gold. Massive action creates results. And so, like I said, I didn't do this like 7 days a week recruit. Now, of course, if someone bumped into me on Tuesday, hey, I see you with EXP. Wednesday, they shoot me an email. Tell me more. Of course, I would talk to them. But I was purposeful and intentional Friday afternoons, 2 to 5. And how many did I call? 3 to 5. I called 3 to 5 from 2 to 5. 3 to 5. What do you mean 3? You called 3 to 5? That's it? Yeah. I didn't call 30, 50 as quick as I could. I didn't cold call anybody. I've never talked to a stranger about EXP. Oh, well, there you go. I don't know anyone. Go meet people. I've gone into open houses since EXP to meet people. Please, dear God, do not talk to them about EXP at that open house. I'm begging you. Meet them. Don't talk to them for an hour. You meet them in 2-3 minutes, a minute, 5 minutes, you're out. They're there to do something else. Do not sit there and give them the EXP plan. You're making a huge mistake and creating a negative wake for the rest of us. Do we all agree? Just meet people. Go to an event, grand opening of Keller Williams, grand opening of Sotheby's, and just meet people and leave. Don't go there and talk about EXP. Don't you dare breathe a word at their event. Very disrespectful and hurtful to those people. They have dreams and goals too. They may not be with us now, but they will someday. And so I want to challenge you there. But become a person of intention. Design a plan and follow it. Stick to it. Can you make a plan? Can you stick to it? Can you sell out to it? And then go on faith. And if EXT doesn't work, I was okay taking my hat, putting it in my hand, and going back to Keller Williams and go, take me back. It didn't work. You see letters flying around. Someone showed me a letter Keller wrote. It's a PR hit piece. I'll give you a PR hit piece. Last week, after telling 55 agents about Keller Williams, I love the company. I still love the company. My profit share, and having hundreds of people in my profit share tree, my profit sharing check last week was $13. That's why is that? It's because they're not making much profit, right? It's low tide. It's not bad. It's not a bad. That's just how their system works. Now it's low tide, but my revenue share check last week, my voice cracked, was $185,000. Now that's not for the year. It's for the month. Okay. Now last year it was $55,000, and by April it was $118,000. It doubled in that little December to April 4 month. So what happens when the 185 doubles? Be about $350 April 22nd. Call me, I'll tell you. And that's about $4 or $5 million in income my third year. Is that good or bad? It's like 6-7 times the highest paid Keller Williams profit sharing. Does that make Keller Williams bad? No, they're a great company. That's just the system they have. And it cracks me up. Some agents like, well, it's better. How is that better? Right? Well, it's not all about rev share. Okay, what's it about? Selling homes, and what do you do with that? You earn money and you provide for your families. Rev share is a part of that. Again, I want to make something clear. I passionately sold real estate till I was making $100,000 a month. And last March or April, I can't remember the exact month, I made $118,000. Actually, it might have been March 22nd. I go, what am I doing taking listings? 1.2 million a year in rev share. What am I doing taking? And that's when I backed off. So you need to be successful at real estate. It attracts honey to bees, right? Or bears to honey or whatever. You get the idea? It's the more successful. So you need to become successful. The next thing is, I love they interviewed Steph Curry on the Golf Channel. And as they were interviewing Steph Curry, one of the greatest basketball players in the NBA, for those of you who don't know, he said, what do you attribute your success thing to? And he goes, number one, I just go all out. I work really hard. I mean, I'm focused. Number two, I am completely willing to fail. He actually said that. And I jumped up from my thing. I go, that's it. And some of you are so unwilling to fail. You're so unwilling. You'd rather invest $1 million and risk your ego. And all's EXP is, you ready? It's not a capital risk. Anybody been asked for 50 or 100 grand to buy an EXP franchise? We're a national company. All it is your ego. You can tell a few people, it's a stupid idea. I maybe had 8 or 10 people in 2 years tell me it was dumb, stupid, didn't have time for it. I don't want one of those pyramid deals or whatever. And they're just ignorant. And in general, that was my fault for those people. And that's your fault. Because you shouldn't be calling people with negative energy, negative vibes. You call nice people with good energy that you've dealt with in the past. Now, sometimes you call someone scary and you think they might be and they bite you. I was right. Doesn't mean you need to stop, right? Are you with me? You got to get some thick skin, and I believe Texas has the thickest skin of all. Come on, Texas. Come on, baby. Don't tread on me. So, social IQ, again, when you're following up with people, do not beat the living tar out of them with the stock updates. And tomorrow we're ringing, or today we're ringing the bell on NASDAQ. You know, I guess they changed it to hitting the buzzer, but same thing. And don't, have some intelligence. The other day, last week, some woman hit me up for something, EXP agent I actually sponsor, and she sent me text message after text message. I'm like, okay, I got it. I'll look. I'm trying to be nice. I'm her sponsor in EXP, right? I would be nice to her if I wasn't. But then she sends me one final text later that night, and it was like a book. I mean, I couldn't even get to the end of it. And she's not successful at EXP. James and I have talked about it. She struggles so bad. She has no filter. It's like she would walk up and talk to people and be talking to you and get talking to you. And this is a little uncomfortable and awkward, isn't it? If I broach the 3, even though it's in the world, if someone avatar gets close, like, dude, back up. There's a 3-foot roll in here. And so there's this kind of a social intelligence that you may need to work on. And so some of you haven't been to John Maxwell events and Tony Robbins events and Zig Ziglar events, and you haven't read Og Mandino books and Dale Carnegie books and Alan Lloyd McGinnis, The Friendship Factor. I just bought every one of my agents that book, The Friendship Factor, about being a friend. You know, if you don't have many friends, it's because you're trying to find them. Just be a friend. Just be a friend, and you'll find them everywhere. If you're lonely, you're looking for friends. Stop it. Just be kind to people. Reach out. Help people. And so Tony Robbins is coming up March 14th, 15th, and 16th. I will be there with my wife. I went to my first one 2 years ago. It was amazing. I was resistant because of the whole walking on fire thing, right? I'm like, that's weird. I ain't doing that. I don't know what they do up here to do that. I ain't doing that. Anyways, but here's the deal. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Do I agree with everything Tony Robbins said? Obviously not. Did you agree with everything you learned in college? Did it stop you from going to college? It was phenomenal. And some of you are like, I'm not succeeding with this EXP attraction thing. You need to go to a Dale Carnegie course. I've seen they actually have Dale Carnegie. You need to go to Tony Robbins. You need to go to John Maxwell. You need to go to something to work on that. Why have some of us do better? Because we have worked on it all our lives. Well, I don't read books. Readers are leaders. Leaders are readers. You better read books. You better be coachable and teachable. Don't be a Casanova real estate agent. What's that? Sponsoring's half the game. You get them in, that's great. Then you leave them. Love them and leave them. Now you got to support them, help them, train them, help them with leads, whatever you could bring to the table. Well, I'm new, I don't know anything. Give them my open house lead generation course. It's at BrentGoveResource.com. Say, watch this, and they'll go, holy smokes, that thing's gone viral. It's been seen thousands and thousands and thousands of times. There's 2 million agents, it's okay. And I've always been open and shared that information. So let's keep moving here. How about this? Are you coachable? Are you open and honest about where you are? Who's coaching you? I don't need a coach. People will coach. I can't afford it. I coached a guy from RE/MAX for 2 years. Met with him for coffee every 2 weeks for 2 years. I met with him 52 times over 2 years. I had zero. I wasn't an EXP. I was a Keller Williams guy. I had my own team. He's at RE/MAX, far away. We would meet. And he goes, would you be willing to help me? I could use some help. I said, absolutely. Because that's who I am. I usually bought his coffee at Panera Bread and whatever he was having. It didn't cost him anything to be coached. That's this side going, they won't coach. Maybe they won't coach you, but maybe so. Listen to this side. Listen to that voice, because you have two voices in your head. One says, who are you kidding? And so many of you listen to that voice so much. John Dupree does not listen to that voice. Was he amazing yesterday or what? I wasn't even here, but I asked around. I heard he was amazing. Pat Hayes does not listen to that voice. Do you guys believe that? Tom Trong, who you're going to hear from today, who I heard from last summer, whenever that was, I was blown away. I'm just like vibrating in my chair, right? Are you kidding me? Tom Trong's a stud. And you become like those people you hang out with. And so, here's the deal. It gets down to excuses, rationalizations, and limitations. We make excuses. We rationalize. We say, well, I don't know anyone and I haven't sold any homes. I didn't know if my sponsor had just gotten a real estate license. Well, I don't know. She referenced the place I had been, and she goes, I met you for 30 seconds in the lobby. Do you remember me? Now, when you say that to a nice person, you're like, well, I don't know if they remember me. That's good. Because when they don't remember you and a nice person, you know what it elicits? Empathy. I'm sorry, I don't. And then I'm sitting here thinking, what a heel. What a total jerk, you arrogant jerk. You don't remember this sweet woman who's all excited at me, asking me if I remember. Do you remember me? We met 5 years ago, Ron. But it's almost good. It's almost better if they don't remember you. Well, I'm not going to call them because you're rationalizing, you're making excuses, and you're arguing for. And there's a great quote. Write this down. Ready? If you argue for your limitations, I'm broke. I don't have a nice car. I'm scared. I have fear or whatever. If you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Who wants to be broke? Who wants to live in fear? Who wants to drive a lousy car and live in a lousy house? I mean, sometimes you just got to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when they say for an alcoholic or drug addict to really get over it, they got to hit rock bottom. But guess what? You got to say, enough is enough. I'm just pissed. And you're only mad at yourself. It ain't Coldwell Banker's fault you're in your situation. It's not EXP's fault. Not sure as heck it ain't my fault. You can blame anyone you want. Blame your spouse. Well, my spouse is mean to me. My husband's a jerk. My wife's a jerk. Hey, man, I've been to marriage counseling many times. And it's probably more because of me than my wife, right? See, there's for sure more than me, right? Are you with me? You can see me up here. I got 6 children. They're all teenagers and above. I need a lot of counseling, right? We got stuff going on. My 17-year-old daughter's giving me a run for the money. I remember Dennis Waitley's son kind of went off the deep end. I really admired him in the 80s. And I remember judging him. He's a loser. He's a liar. He must not be what he said. I did judge him. I was 19 myself, but I go, well, how could that be? Till I had kids. I'm like, where did you come from? Are you born in this family? Because we love you. We care about you. And what the heck is your deal? And my daughter, who's 26 now, works for me. She's like, Dad, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I went whatever I went. And we have a great relationship now. But there was a time when it wasn't good. But it doesn't mean you step out of the game or check out. You were there. You fight for the people you love, right? Okay, so we're going to keep going. Here we go. I have a question for you. What's harder to go get in the next 12 months? 40 listings or sponsor 40 agents? What's more rare? Are listings, how much work does it take for you to go get, how many marketing dollars, listing appointments, if you're on a 50-50 ratio, which is pretty good, that's 80 appointments. What kind of money do you got to spend? Do you even know how to spend it? How do you get the listing leads? So you get 40 listings where you get paid one time and your reward is do it again next year in a declining market. Or you go sign up 40 agents. Oh, but it's hard. I talked to somebody. They said they already heard it. I talked to Rick Jiha 2 years ago. He said, I already heard the EXP. 10 people talked to me. That's what he said to me. You ever heard him say that? I said, really? I go, so you watched the webinar and you're not interested. You saw how this revenue share works, how you can make a couple million a year in the next 5 years, and you're not interested? He goes, what are you talking about? No, I never saw a webinar. I'm like, oh, well, that explains everything. He goes, what do you mean it explains everything? Because if you saw what I saw, you would not be talking to me like this. Now, I knew him well enough. I'd gone to dinner with him and Napa and his wife. Again, I didn't call strangers. And he took it almost like a challenge. I didn't mean it that way. He goes, fine, send me the webinar. He watches the webinar, sends me 2 words, I'm in. And today he has like 380 agents. He sponsored 27 people. He'll have over 1,000 by the end of the year, make over $1 million a year his third year at EXP. Is that a failure? So what do you say to people? Other people say, yeah, I have seen the webinar. I says, wow. I go, well, do you know which one you saw? And they go, no. And I go, okay, so here's the deal. Our company pulled everything off the internet like a year ago because there was thousands of agents just making up their own webinars, and there was some that are really good and some that were horrible. Obviously, you saw one that was horrible. We've been friends for a long time. I have respect for you. I know you have respect for me. Would you watch it for me? Just take a little look at it. You're not allowed to leave Coldwell Banker. I say to people all the time, you need to stay at RE/MAX. Stay at RE/MAX forever. I want you to understand this, and I want this to be plan B for you. Because if something changes, how would you like to know where you're going to go? Would you watch it for a plan B option? People, relax. Let's go out and look at property. Oh, no, we don't want to buy till next fall. Are you crazy? Interest rates may go up. Prices may rise. Are you crazy? Now you're telling them they're stupid. You know what I say? Awesome, you could buy next fall, no problem. But let's go out and look at 2 or 3 of the best homes we can get for $300,000 right now. That way next fall you'll be more educated. Oh, I could just go look. You're not going to pressure me to buy. Yeah, let's go look. And they look, they buy every time. They watch that webinar, they will sign up. And it's like Gene Frederick said, maybe their gate isn't open. Their gate's open. I don't know. You're looking for open gates, timing. So many people have come back to me 6 months later, a year later, 18 months later, 2 years later. You're talking to people, it's not working for me. They're going to come back to you. It's totally working for you. You are planting seeds in the ground like a farmer. Well, I've talked to a bunch of people. How many? 20. And none of them did it. Okay, you have 20 seeds in the ground. They're going to start popping when the timing's right. So Frank Valente calls me back. Man, I've seen signs everywhere. I think we need it. I was very closed-minded last time. Honestly, I didn't watch the webinar. Honestly, I watched the first 5 minutes and then I walked away because I got busy with the phone call. Are you having people watch the webinars at 6:30, 7:30 in the morning after they drop the kids off at 8? Or are they watching at noon and being distracted, 2 and being distracted, 5 and being distracted? Are you smart about this? Are you being smart about it? Next, scripts. Everyone wants to know what I say. Everyone wants to know what I say. What do you say to a brand new agent? What do you say to an independent who has 80 agents? What do you say to an independent with 30 offices and 1,200 agents? What do you say to an agent doing 40 deals a year? What do you say to a team doing $240 a year? I say the same thing to everybody. You're going to love my script. So I say, Ron, Brent, Gove. I don't know if you remember me, man. We met at the Century 21 conference or the Brian Buffini conference or the Mike Ferry conference. And you guys are like, well, I haven't been to any of those. I'm new. Go! And don't meet Ron and go, okay, how do I bring up EXP? You're going to be weird. Don't do that. Just meet Ron, say hi, go, hey, if I have any, where are you from? Boise. Here, I'm from San Antonio. I'm from Houston. I'm from Dallas. I'm from Charlotte. I'm from wherever you're from. Hey, if you ever have a referral, think of me. Do you have a card? Yeah. And he's chatting. You could call him back a week later, a month later, and say, I don't know if you remember me. I met you for like 30 seconds at the Mike Ferry conference and wherever you were. Do you remember me, Ron? And he's going, dude, I met someone. I don't, but he's a nice people. It's going to list it again. What? Empathy. Stop trying to talk to people at the open house, at the event, at the training thing. Just be a friend. Go meet people. Relax. And then call them back when it's your purposeful and intentional time. Come from contribution. There's life enhancers and well poisoners. Which one are you? Have you ever met someone who's a life enhancer? They walk in the room, everyone's like excited to see them. That's a life enhancer. Be that person. Don't sit there. The speakers are looking in the audience. Smile at the speaker. I'm looking at you right now, and she has a slight smile. You don't sit there and go the whole time. But if you ever speak, you'll see me on the stage. If you look at me, I'll just go. I'll give you a little fist pump. The speakers feed off it. You're just so glued. And it's not a bad thing. I get you're glued, you're checked out. But, be a room lifter. Come into every room you ever walk in. Doesn't mean you come in and act like an idiot. But it means you don't come in and go, man, the food sucked this morning. I hate this hotel. My bed had a wrinkle in it. My faucet leaked. The toilet went off all night. I'm pissed. Can't wait to hang out with you. Woo! How's your EXP business going? No, don't join me. Okay, maybe that was a little funny. But you guys with me? You get what you sow, what you reap. You give love, you get love. You go down you get on the freeway, someone cuts you off, you flip them off, they're going to probably do what? Flip you off or worse. Duh. People, I cut this guy off so bad, he pulled up in a big truck, big tires, he could have driven over my Range Rover, and he was like, he just let me know he was not happy. I just looked up at him, because big, huge truck tires, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's, usually a tiny little dude. Although, Pat, your truck's awesome, man, you're big. But anyways, not everybody, right? Not all Coldwell Banker agents. But I looked up at him, I go, dude, I'm sorry, man. My mistake, like this. And he goes, oh. And we went off down the road. Are you going to influence people around you? Are you a force for good or for evil? How are you at home? Are you a force for good or for evil? You come home and just sit in front of the TV? Best practices, what do I do if I'm talking to someone, they're so excited, and you just sign them up, you just say, hey, by the way, you've been talking about EXP. Totally, my best friend from elementary school who lives in San Antonio has been talking to me every week, but I'm in Seattle, you're in Seattle, forget my best friend, I think it's going to be better for me to sign up with you because you can help me more than my best friend who's new. I've had people say that to me like 14 times. I says, that's great, I could do that, but I'm going to break the heart of your best friend. And I'm not going to, no, I get to pick, I pick you. I said, that's awesome, but as a sponsor, it asks us if we accept. And I respectfully decline because I will not do that. You with me? Now thank you. Now, is that going to happen all this year, next year? No. Are people going to sign up people I've been working with? Yes. Do not bring energy to areas you can do nothing about. I'm so upset. Okay, now what are you going to do? You only have so much energy in your body. Go sponsor some people. I'm going to get them fired from this company. Evil? Good, and how is that going to? I'll feel better. Okay. Take your energy and go sign up some people. Why should I no, I'm not saying you should roll over, but just easy now. Right? You with me? Is that good? If you're not sure what to do, call your sponsor. Call someone who has integrity that you know of, okay? I have a guy in Mexico who is famous, and he's on my fourth or fifth level, and he was going to sign up right there, I think level 4 or 5. And then the guy says, oh, yeah, actually, so-and-so's not going to be a sponsor. We have this guy who's going to be a sponsor. I'm like, did that guy even call him? And he's like, well, yeah, he kind of was there, but he took off for Australia for 3 months, and he's been gone. But I'm like, okay, well, if that needs to happen, then that needs to happen. I'm 100% for that. He says, well, why do you ask? I go, because that's going to put him, I think, on my 6th level. Everybody he sponsors is my 7th level, and I'll miss almost the entire country of Mexico. I go, but that's what I want to happen. If this guy named Jeff deserves to sponsor Chris, my big star, then please, by all means, let's make that happen. I didn't say this to him. It'll literally cost me millions of dollars. And the guy said, wow, I'm glad you have integrity. That's important to me. I didn't say, forget Jeff, forget. I said, did Jeff talk to Chris? Are you just going to give them? You ever seen people want to give someone to sponsor? Very hopeful to the people above you that are trying to help you. When you do that sort of thing, we just give people away because it pushes the 7th level down. James, how many people do we have on our 7th level today? At 4,000 an agent. Let's just say 3 of them cap, 300 of this almost 700 cap. That's 300 times 4,000, which is what? 1.2 million. Throw in the half cappers, another couple hundred at 2,000. That's another 400. It's 1.6 million on my 7th level. Now somebody goes, boom, yeah, you sponsor Brent. You sponsor. It takes the 7th level, makes it your level 8. You know how much level 8 pays out at EXP? Nothing. But I said to him, I go, if that's the right thing, then Jeff definitely needs to be a sponsor. I just, he appreciated that. Next, seek first to understand. That's why when I got a phone call from Randy, that I made a phone call. There's always 2 sides to every story. One of my star agents, she sponsored like 38 people. She was so upset because one of her agents called her and said, so-and-so signed up so-and-so, and I was talking to him. She's like a mama bear. And she called up that agent and ripped that agent's head off. There was no seeking first to understand. It was like, okay, crowd. I'm like, whoa. I called the other agent and said, did they ever mention they were talking? No, they never mentioned it. So the other agent did nothing wrong if they didn't mention it. And then I called the agent who was upset. I go, when were you talking to that agent, like a couple weeks ago, a month ago? She goes, well, I really didn't think about it. It's been a year. Okay, if you talk to somebody 4 months ago and you have not communicated with them, it's not to be weird, but it's kind of like, it's okay for the people to sponsor that people. To me, it's like if you haven't talked to someone in 2 or 3 months, it's you're with me? And there's no like, is it 2 months? Is it 3? Is it 8 weeks? Is it 6? I don't know, but are you with me? But if it's been 6 months or a year, you don't own people. Well, I sent them a text. I sent them a stock update. That's not having a dialogue. Whatever reason they didn't connect with you. Are you with me? But my star agent didn't seek first to understand. So listen to me. When things go squirrely in your real estate transaction, talk to everybody involved. Seek first to understand what's going on before you go off half-cocked. Are we all agree? Okay, we got to go fast. Got a few minutes left. Here we go. The business belongs to promoters. How many of you think if you'd had some of your key people here, that you'd be better off in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months? And you didn't. So here's the good news. Orlando's coming up in June. Get them to the shareholders meeting. The more people you get there, the more your business will explode. I've always gotten lots of people at this stuff. I've been really good at that. You must learn to, I'll pay for your room. I'll pay for part of your room. Stay in my room. We'll get a rollaway cot. What do I have to do to get you there? I'll buy you breakfast. I never buy airfare because you never know what it'll cost. Say, I will pay for your hotel room. Really, you do that for me? Yes. Come. And so promote. I'll say this, the secret weapon. You guys want to know the secret weapon? For me, it's prayer. Now, some of you are into that. Maybe it's meditating for you. But for me, it is praying. Some people are like, well, I just thank my lucky stars for EXP. I thank the one who made the stars. Are you with me? For me. And I know that's not everybody's deal. But I'm telling you, if you are a man or a woman of prayer, do you pray over your agents? Do you pray over the agents? I pray, God, if you don't want Ron and EXP, shut the door. Not everybody's supposed to be here. Maybe 90%. But not everybody. Maybe God wants to take Ron to Norway. My son's living in Norway now and sharing with unreached people's groups all over the world, all over Asia. That's what he does. That's what he's chosen. He's 24. I support that. My daughter's moving to Africa next year. She'll be 20. Freaked out about that, but it's happening. She's got her own life to live. I'm not going to hold her back. All right, I'm back. But they have their own dreams, goals, and their mom and I, we support that. I'm obviously not thrilled that she's going to live over there. Get emotional. Okay. All right, 2 final thoughts. Number 1, we're going to wrap up hard. Do you have fire in your veins? I mean, you got some internal moxie, fortitude. What is flowing through your veins for your family, for the almighty daughter, for a Rolex or a whatever. But what is flowing through your veins to fight a battle? Because you're in a battle. You could take it slow and easy. You know, most people are living to die. But we're dying to live. Are you with me? You just flip it around. So I want to ask fire in your veins. So I want to encourage you to be a troublemaker as we wrap this up. Write that down. I am a troublemaker. We had a holiday last Monday, a week ago last Monday. You know the name of that holiday? Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King was a troublemaker. He did some awesome things for our nation. And you think, oh, it's not a big deal. Yes, it was a big deal in the 60s to do what he did. It took cojones. It took some internal fortitude and standing up for what was right, because there were so many injustices. And this room may not be the room for you if you disagree with that. Whatever, I shouldn't say that, it's your event, sorry. But Abraham Lincoln was a troublemaker. The Emancipation Proclamation, he ended slavery in America, tore our nation into an incredible civil war, split mother against daughter, brother against brother, the South and the North. It was a big deal. Is that not a troublemaker? But he also made history, and he's loved and respected, and Martin Luther King also. How about Winston Churchill? Hated England, but the only guy who stood up. It was scary. It's not easy to stand up against injustice. Adolf Hitler. We would all be speaking German today. They said if he didn't stand there in front of Parliament and take on the English Parliament, who were so just wanted to kowtow, he said we must fight them. And he convinced them to do it. They fought long enough till America woke up and got in the world, into the war, and changed one man. I think, well, that's, hey, baby, how about Paul? The Apostle Paul, he was a troublemaker. John the Baptist, you don't think he was a troublemaker? Herod and his wife put his head on a platter. They were so upset with him. But he prepared the way for the greatest troublemaker of all, Jesus Christ. You don't think he was a troublemaker? There's somebody who ain't happy about that man, right? Or how about this? Helen Keller, born blind, deaf, and mute. Imagine, close your eyes. You can't see, you can't hear, and you can't speak. But you can feel people touch you, and you're as normal as any person in this room, man. But you're just trapped in your body. You can't see, you can't hear, you can't speak. You just feel things, people touching you and handing you food and putting it up to your mouth. And you're stuck in your own body. Talk about a scary thing. Helen Keller's my hero, but the bigger hero is Anne Sullivan. Anybody know who Anne Sullivan is? She's the one who said that's not an animal. That's a human being. And she was able to tap through and find a way to communicate with Helen Keller. Turned out Helen Keller was brilliant. She was just a brilliant person. And you know what? She was a troublemaker. Anne Sullivan and Helen Keller, you know why? Their entire financial institutions set up to just throw people in insane asylums, and the government paid them, and they're rich, fat cats off of just treating people like animals. That's somebody's son or daughter, a little 1, 2, 3-year-old being thrown in there. And they literally treated them like animals. Helen Keller and Sullivan, they were troublemakers. How about Rosa Parks? Simple thing. I ain't giving up my seat. Rosa Parks was a troublemaker. Are you with me? Do you understand here? And I realize we're through some of these things. We're not, this and that. But you need to be a troublemaker for your family. Tucker, Henry Ford, Elon Musk. Amazing stories. If you've not watched a if you've not watched a movie, Tucker. That's movie and Tucker, mucker. Okay, I get going too quick. I want you to watch Tucker when you get home from this event on iTunes. Download it, watch Tucker. How about Paul Revere? How about Nelson Mandela? How about Oscar Schindler? Saving 700-800 people. Scary, they shoot him in the head. But he risked his life to save another. Yes, we just have to talk to people that they're mean to me. Gross, get some thicker skin. Realize what you're fighting for. Do you with me? What are you fighting for? You can fight for your own goals and dreams, good, healthy ones, or you will fight for somebody else's. They'll give you a job. You can build yours or you can build theirs. You got two choices. Okay? One of my favorite, my final one I'll tell you about is Mother Teresa. Somebody thinking, well, I can't be Abraham Lincoln. I can't be Tucker and Henry Ford. And I can't. Mother Teresa, all she did, little nun. Nobody knew her. Got on a train, went to the end of the train, end of the tracks. Little place called Calcutta, India. I think I get the city right. And all she did was start scooping people up off the ground who were literally rotting. And she fed them and nursed them back to health. Like, why are you doing this? She's like, because I care. You're a human being. The homeless people, I don't have the answer either, but let's care for them, right? And she's the most loved, respected, even people who aren't Catholics thinks Mother Teresa's cool. There's nobody who hates Mother Teresa. And what did she do? She just started caring for people. So I want to challenge you to do that. And the final thing is this. There we go. That's how it's final. So here's the deal. Here we go. There is a polar vortex once in a generation descending upon America. And I want you to know when you leave here, there is a storm like the polar vortex coming for you. It's the agents you call who are maybe mean to you. It's your old owner, old manager. It's letters you get. It's maybe a threatened lawsuit because you're talking to a RE/MAX agent. My OP sent me a letter from his lawyer. You talk to anyone, we will sue you up the river. I got the letter too, right? There's a storm coming. But there's a great saying in this world. Because some of you are going to go home to marriage issues. You're going to go home to kids. You're going to go home to financial pressure. Some of you don't even know how you're going to get money to get to the airport. And you're going to have to hitch a ride with someone. You got issues. I love this saying. It's not the force of the gale, but the set of your sail that determines your direction in life. See, on a sailboat, if it ain't blowing, not much happens. It's kind of boring. But when the wind's blowing, 20, 30, 40 knots, whatever, I don't even know what I'm saying, but it sounds good. Nautical winds blowing. Man, those sails catch air. Whoom! I've sailed on a sailboat. It's exhilarating. No engine. Quiet as could be. Across the water off the coast of Maui. Most beautiful, incredible whales and bottlenose dolphins, flying fish. It's exhilarating. So the reason you don't think you could build EXP, that storm, that polar vortex, is the exact reason, I just choked and slobbered, is the exact reason, okay? I swallowed. Now here's the deal. Is the exact reason why you're going to do this. You can use it to bury you and hold you down, or you could say, not me, baby. I'm going to kill it. Love you guys. Go kill it. Be successful.